This actually is your last lecture video. I know I said that the last time, but that was for the lecture part of the test. This is the lab part 2 of your muscle unit, and this will just be coloring the muscles of the human body, and then we'll do the cat muscles as well, just like we did with the upper body. You do need to know the origins and insertions for the human muscles. You do not need to know them for the cat muscles. And again, you'll end up seeing a lot of similarities between human muscles and cat muscles. So let's start with the buttocks. Two main muscles of your butt are the gluteus maximus and the gluteus medius. The gluteus maximus is obviously bigger, although this will be opposite in the case of your cat. The origins and insertion for both of your buttocks muscles are the same. The origin or the anchor point is the ilium part, or the ilium portion of your pelvis, and the insertion is the femur. So these muscles help move your femur. Gluteus maximus in pink, maximus in a human because it is the bigger of the two. Medius is the smaller of the two. The cat has a gluteus maximus, a gluteus medius, and a gluteus minimus, which you will identify all three of those. Next are the muscles that make up your hamstring, or the back posterior part of your leg. Your hamstring, when people say, oh, I pulled a hammy, that's really not very accurate because your hamstring is actually made up of 3 separate muscles. The muscle running directly down the middle is called the semitendinosus. Then if you go to the muscle underneath that is the semimembranosus. So tendinosus sits on top of the semimembranosus. And then you have the biceps femoris, which is going to be on the lateral side of your leg. So 3 muscles of the hamstring: semitendinosus, semimembranosus in pink, and the biceps femoris. The semimembranosus and semitendinosus originate or anchor on the ischium. Actually, your biceps femoris does as well. However, the 2 muscles are going to move your tibia, and then the biceps femoris is going to attach to your fibula and allow you to move your fibula. Looking then into your medial thigh. So here's your pelvic bone here. So here's where your pubic region would be, and your femur. There are a series of muscles then that are going to run along the inside. These are deep muscles. Okay, so actually it's kind of more of an intermediate view, but these are the deeper ones that we're going to know. This muscle way up on top here is called the pectineus. It is going to originate right here on your pubic bone, and it's going to move your femur. Directly under that is the adductor brevis. So adductor meaning that it's going to allow your leg adducting motion. It also originates from the pubis and moves the femur. The adductor longus is going to originate on the pubis and move your femur. And then the gracilis is going to be run straight from your pubic bone all the way down around the knee and attached to the top of the tibia. And this is your gracilis. It's the long bone on your medial or inner thigh. So here's a superficial view, meaning that you would see these muscles, they're kind of buried underneath this, which is your quad, which we'll get to in just a second. If we cut that off, these are going to be the deeper muscles inside: pectineus, adductor brevis, adductor longus, and the gracilis. Your quad, kind of like the hamstring, oh, I pulled a quad, not very accurate because of the fact that you actually have 4 different muscles that make up your quadriceps. So again, pay attention to the top on the superficial view, which is the most shallow view. When you cut your cat open, you'll see these muscles right away, versus this deep view here, which would be found underneath when we cut the rectus femoris. The huge muscle of your thigh, right in the middle, the medialmost muscle on top, is the rectus femoris. The sartorius then is going to run from the outside of your hip along around your knee and attach down to the bottom, so it's going to move your tibia. Then on the outer or the lateral side is your vastus lateralis. If you cut this bicep femoris and peel it back, so you can see here how this is the bicep and it was cut, then you can see the remaining 4 quad muscles, which are going to be the vastus medialis, vastus intermedius, and then again the vastus lateralis, which you can see in the superficial view. So the 4 muscles that make up the quad are the rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, vastus intermedius, and vastus medialis. And again, look at these words. Vastus medialis. Okay, well that's the one on the medial side of the leg, so the inner, closest to the midline. lateralis, that's the one on the outside, on the lateral portion of the leg. The intermedius, that's the one that's in between the lateralis and the medialis. So just look at the words if you're confused in order to know what those are. And then that rectus femoris would cover for sure all of the intermedius, but cover portions of the lateralis and medialis as well. The sartorius is not part of your quad muscles, but it's an important muscle because again, it's going to help stabilize as it goes all the way across the leg. All of these quadricep muscles are going to be in charge of moving your kneecap. That's their job. So they're all connected to the kneecap, and two of them are going to attach to the femur to move that kneecap. The last one is going to attach the rectus femoris to the hip, the iliac of the hip. Lower leg, this is the anterior view. So this is going to be the muscle directly behind your shin, the tibialis anterior. This is the muscle as it pulls away from the bone is what causes shin splints to occur. So big, large muscle in the front. Looking at your lower leg from the back view, again, you're going to want to pay attention to superficial, intermediate, and deep muscles. This huge muscle right here in the superficial view is your calf muscle, also called your gastrocnemius. It is going to originate on the femur and it's going to move your calcaneus or your heel. If we snip this, right underneath there is the soleus in blue. In this diagram, we've basically snipped the soleus up here, and we've snipped the gastrocnemius, and then directly underneath, smack in the middle, is a tibialis posterior. So if you think about it, the tibialis anterior and the tibialis posterior are straight in line with each other. Tibialis posterior originates on the tibia and it moves your metatarsals, the bones of your foot. The soleus originates on the fibula and it moves your calcaneus, again your heel bone. And the gastrocnemius also moves your heel bone, but it attaches on your femur. That's it for muscles. We are all done. So now all you got to do is find the muscles listed on your sheet for the cat, stick pins in them, identify them, study them. We'll take that test as well as take the lecture test. So make sure you're reviewing the lecture test items, and we will be done with this unit. The only other thing that we will be doing is we will actually be cutting open the cat and looking at the layouts of the organs, which you will just have an oral quiz on as we do it, and then we will send the cats to their final resting place.